community की अपना गाय में बस दूर तो पता है जिमो कोर्स कोर्स सोचे दे तो कि detective inspector police की मको मतलब ची message लगा है youngsters ता ची तो से चुकूँ ये शक्कोर कोई बात को मार कोई antisocial behavior is also there the illegal substances is also there
speak level
don't get involved in any crime and if you do see any crime to make sure you report it in particular knife crime if you see somebody carrying knives or you see that somebody is potentially carrying knives, just make sure you report to the police. Birmingham was safest cities that Birmingham crime is on the reduced punishment. For people and assumption is that crime is on the increase, but without having all the facts, like all the figures and stats, you can't really assume that crime is on the increase. Well, it's not. Birmingham is the safest city possibly in Europe. So we welcome people to Birmingham. My message to the youngsters is that they should not get involved in crime. They should always ask for help. They should always approach the authorities. In particular, when they do see crime or somebody committing crime, they should actually report that to the police and the authorities. So that's the message to everyone.
Also, the youngsters, the Asian community, the young deport also help Kawash. That's a problem. Plus, approach Kawash and also help Kawash.
There's a lot of opportunities for youngsters in Birmingham across the country, to get involved in youth activities. There's police obviously recruiting hopefully in the near future to try and join the police service, to try and make a difference, to represent the community. So it's really, really good that we actually promote the community and the community actually get engaged and integrate in our society. Because we are British after all and we're proud to be British. So my message is absolutely clear. Don't get involved in crime. Come and work with us, come and work with the community, come and work with the communities as well, integrate into the community, and enjoy life to the full. And if you see anybody that's committing crime or likely to be committing crime, or if you've got any messages or any assumptions that you can't actually bottom out, come and speak to us and we will speak to you and advise you appropriately.
In our next case, a merciless masked gang is terrorizing the West Midlands and surrounding counties. And Detective Inspector Mohammed Yousaf is on a mission to crack their identity and put them behind bars.
So this case came to us where a car was stolen by way of carjacking. And we knew then that this car was a tool that the offenders used to commit some of their crimes across the country. And then we're able to actually pinpoint some of the method that they use and put it together to be able to say that these are the same offenders.
Recognizing the car and identifying the same repeated crimes of carjacking and armed robberies, Mohammed can see a pattern emerging.
These offenders committed something like over 46 offences. Mainly what they did was they attacked the victim, in some cases 2 or 3 of them, using weapons, imitation firearms. In this case, in the car park, they tried to carjack a car. The victim ran away from them. Eventually, they give up and get into a Ford Focus where they make up at speed.
Keeping their faces hidden, the gang are brazen, but still leave no clues behind. Mohammed has his work cut out.
We needed to act quickly and effectively to be able to stop them from committing further crimes.
But with no way of IDing them, Mohammed is struggling to keep up with the number of crimes. And they're coming in thick and fast.
As we were investigating, we had another offence reported at a local convenience store. This is the location where one of the robberies have happened. So they've gone in there and they've attacked the female behind the counter who was visibly pregnant. It clearly tells you that they didn't care.
CCTV at the store captures it all.
So you can clearly see here the lady pregnant, and the offenders have stormed into the shop. There was a firearm that was being used. You can see the offenders telling her to open the till. Then you can see that they steal the money from the till and then later helps themselves to cigarettes and alcohol. They then make off from there, leaving the victim on the floor. It clearly shows they did not care about the pregnant lady. They did not care about the violence they used. The impact of this type of violence on the victim is huge. It will probably stay with them for the rest of their lives. But it's not just one victim. There's a lot of victims in this. There's a community, there's obviously the families, everybody. So we needed to make sure we apprehend these individuals. I always wanted to be a police officer because I always wanted to help people, bring people to justice. I see every crime through the eyes of our victims.
Mohammed might have the CCTV as evidence of the horrific crime, but it's still not enough.
We couldn't really identify the offenders from that CCTV. So we were kind of really struggling for evidence at that stage.
It looks as if the gang has dodged a bullet once more. But every robbery, eyewitness account, and grainy CCTV image slowly help to build a picture of who they are.
As the investigation progressed, we had an idea who was involved. We had some background work going on around those individuals. We were looking for that breakthrough. We were looking for that crucial evidence to actually put them at the scene of the crimes. We knew that if we just jump in and arrest individuals, we won't have enough to actually convict them.
Determined to make them accountable for every crime, Mohammed needs to hold his nerve. And it's not long before they strike again.
There was a further crime reported at a local cemetery. We're at Streetley Cemetery in the borough of Walsall in West Midlands. A gentleman had turned up to be with his wife in peace. Little did he know that he was going to be faced with two offenders using violence to steal his car. If you look at that crime, it's probably the lowest you can go. He was attending his wife's grave, and suddenly he's been attacked by violent offenders using weapons. So the victim put up a fight. He managed to get away from the offenders. The offenders tried very best to start his car, but unfortunately they couldn't, and therefore they made off, leaving the car behind. The victim managed to get away and was able to call the police. The police arrived, searched the area, and then as a result they were able to find a glove, which wasn't the victim's glove. So a glove similar to this was recovered from that location. Criminals tend to wear gloves to try and disguise their fingerprints. Whenever we find anything similar to this, we make sure that it gets examined forensically.
This could be the breakthrough Mohammed's been waiting for. The glove could finally identify the gang.
We were hoping for a good hit from this glove because we knew that we may be able to get some DNA evidence.
Marked as a high priority, it's sent off to the lab for testing. And after a nail-biting wait, it's a match to a criminal in their database, Paul Doyle.
His DNA was found, and that was a crucial break in this investigation.
It's the moment of proof. The key piece of evidence that unlocks the whole case.
What we did is looked a little bit deeper into Doyle, and it turned out that he was involved as part of a group of people that were committing these offences. And as a result of that, we were able to identify a number of other individuals. So they were all arrested. We were able to then conduct thorough searches of their premises and were able to recover some property, including mobile phones. We found that the phones were linked to the offence locations. So we could say that that phone was at that particular location at the time of when the crime has occurred. There were a number of photographs of them in balaclavas and hooded jackets. There was enough evidence on those phones to convict them of conspiracy to rob.
Mohammed's dogged resolve to bring down the gang results in the ringleader Doyle getting 24 years. And his associates decades under lock and key.
It's clear that they didn't care. They didn't think of the consequences of the crimes they were committing. They didn't care about the victims. And as a result of that, the total jail sentence they received was over 60 years imprisonment. Hopefully we have brought some kind of comfort to the victims and to the local community.